I never imagined my life would unravel like this, not on a random Thursday night, not with the man I built my whole world around. My name is Lee. I'm 34 years old, and until recently I thought I understood what it meant to fall apart quietly, piece by piece, while pretending everything was fine. But nothing prepared me for how one night could shake the foundation of my marriage, my sense of self, and the fragile hope I had for our future. It all started so mundanely, so normal. Amir, my husband, for almost a decade, kept saying we didn't spend enough quality time together anymore. It's always about the kids, or work, he'd mutter. I heard him, I really did. So I made the reservations. I hired the babysitter. I stood in front of the mirror smoothing down a dress I hadn't worn in years, remembering when Amir used to look at me like I was the only person in the room. I zipped up, slipped on heels, sprayed perfume, and told myself tonight, just maybe, we could find our way back. He picked the restaurant, a little corner place with soft golden lighting and waiters in vests, the kind of place that tries hard to be intimate but mostly makes you realize how far apart you're sitting. I was nervous. I kept reminding myself to breathe, to smile, to let him lead. I'd even let him choose the wine, which he barely noticed because, before the appetizer arrived, his attention was already drifting to the blue glow of his phone. Instagram. Work emails. I felt it immediately, the sharp ache of being invisible to the person you care about most. We were halfway through the meal, and the waiter hovered to refill our water for what felt like the 100th time. I watched Amir scrolling, barely present, and for a moment, I swear I wondered if this is what being a ghost feels like. I'd made all this effort, and he was lost in someone else's life while mine slept further away. So when the waiter made some awkward small talk, anything else I can get you to, I tried to lighten the mood. I wanted to remind Amir that I was there, that we were still us. I smiled then, with a playful tone, joked, "No, but you're officially in the friend zone, he's the husband." The waiter laughed nervously, and for a split second I thought I'd broken the ice. But Amir stopped cold, the phone frozen in his hand, and looked at me with this wounded confusion I'd never seen before. It was like I'd reached across the table and slapped him. He stood up so suddenly his chair scraped the floor, the napkin falling from his lap. "Really, Lee? Is that what you think of me?" he asked, his voice low but shaking. My heart dropped. I tried to explain, to laugh it off, but he was already walking away. "Amir, please, it was just a joke. Sit down, please don't do this." But he didn't even look back. He left. Just like that, he vanished from the restaurant, leaving me alone with my embarrassment and a half-eaten plate of risotto that tasted like sawdust. I sat there in shock, watching the waiter, who now looked as uncomfortable as I felt. My cheeks burned. People pretended not to stare. I paid the bill in silence and mumbled a thank you, walking out into the night with my mind spinning. Amir's car was gone. My heart started to pound. Was he that angry? Was this really the breaking point after all the silent dinners, the cold mornings, the missed opportunities to connect? I stood on the curb, blinking back tears, feeling more alone than I'd felt in years. When I got home, the house was silent, emptier than ever. I paced, called Amir's phone voicemail. I texted him, just asking him to come home, to please talk to me, to not leave me alone with my thoughts. There was no answer. I spent the whole night sitting at the kitchen table, listening for his car, staring at my cold coffee, replaying every moment in my mind. What had I done? Was it the joke? Or had this been building for years, in all the ways we stopped seeing each other? By morning, his car still hadn't returned, and a new kind of panic took root. I tried not to imagine the worst. Was he safe? Was he with someone else? Did he regret marrying me? Or did he just need to escape from the mess we'd become? My mind spiraled as I sat there in my wrinkled dress, feeling old and tired and worn down by regret. Finally, around 10 a.m., I heard the sound of his car in the driveway. I ran to the window, heart in my throat, and saw him step out looking exhausted physically but emotionally miles away. He didn't have a bag. He hadn't packed up and left for good, but he moved like a man with nowhere left to go. When he walked in, the air was heavy. We stared at each other, neither of us speaking, until I finally managed, "You're back." My voice sounded so small. He didn't meet my eyes, just leaned against the counter, as if he needed the wall to hold him up. "Yet," he said. "I just needed some air." My frustration boiled over across my arms, demanded to know how he could just disappear. No text, no call, no nothing. He shot back, his face hard but his eyes hurt. "Dead or alive? You haven't noticed me for months, Lee. Don't pretend now." The words stung so badly I almost flinched. I wanted to scream, to throw all my effort back at him, the date night, the babysitter, the stupid dress. But all I could do was stand there and shake. He shook his head, his laugh bitter. You think one fancy dinner and a joke is enough to fix us? Lee, we're not partners anymore. We're roommates. Co-parents. We go through the motions and pretend it's okay. His words echoed in my mind, roommates, co-parents. Had we really become strangers, just sharing a space, sleepwalking through the days? For the first time, I didn't try to fix it. I sat on the couch, feeling the weight of everything we'd been ignoring for years. So what now? I whispered. Are you done? Are we really over because we hit a rough patch? He was silent for a long time. It's not a rough patch, he finally said. It's years of both of us avoiding the truth. I'm not saying I'm done, but something has to change. We have to change. That vulnerability, the way his voice cracked, shook me to my core. Amir was always the strong one, the stoic. But here he was, raw and exposed, and I realized we'd both been suffering in silence, hoping the other would save us. The next few days were a blur of awkwardness and uncertainty. Every conversation felt like stepping on a minefield. We were relearning how to speak, how to share space without blame or resentment. Sometimes he'd do something small, like make me coffee or look up from his phone to actually listen, and it would remind me of the man I married. But just as often, I'd catch myself doubting, wondering if it was all too late, if the damage was already done. One night, after putting the kids to bed, Amir brought out a bottle of wine and sat down beside me on the couch. Trying for a do-over? I joked weakly. He smiled, but it was tired. Not pretending. Just trying something different. We sat in silence, sipping wine, letting the quiet stretch between us. It wasn't uncomfortable, just different, like we were trying to find our way back to something we'd lost. Out of nowhere, he spoke. I was too hard on you that night at the restaurant, he said, voice soft. I shouldn't have left. But I wasn't just angry at you, I was angry at myself, at all the ways I let us drift. I swallowed hard. He didn't just get angry, Amir. He walked out. I thought that was it. That he finally had enough. He reached for my hand, his grip trembling. I didn't want to leave you, Lee. I just couldn't stay and pretend everything was okay. I needed space to figure out what the hell I was doing. His honesty scared me. It made me realize how far we've fallen, how deep the cracks ran. It's not just the big things, Amir. It's all the little things we let slide, all the feelings we pretended didn't matter until suddenly they did. For a moment, I felt seen, understood. He nodded, and I could tell he meant it. But even with all this effort, with all the talking and late-night confessions, we were still fragile. I could feel it in the air, the sense that one wrong move could send everything crashing down. Weeks passed. We tried. We made time for each other. We talked, listened, forgave, and stumbled. But nothing was easy, and sometimes I wondered if it ever would be again. And then one night, the ground shifted beneath me. Amir came home late from work. He looked pale, haunted, and as soon as he sat on the edge of our bed, I knew something was wrong. Lee, he whispered, barely able to meet my eyes. I made a mistake. A big one. My heart hammered in my chest. What do you mean? He hesitated, pulled out his phone, and I saw the truth written across his face before he could even say the words. I found someone who listens, who gets me. Someone I never planned on needing. I never meant for it to happen. It's not physical, but emotionally, I crossed a line. The world tilted. All the air went out of the room. So you cheated? I managed, choking back tears. He shook his head, tears in his eyes. No, not like that. But I confided in her. I told her things I should have told you. I was lost, and instead of working on us, I escaped. I'm so sorry, Lee. I sat there numb, rage and heartbreak fighting inside me. You should have told me. Before it got this far. He nodded, devastated. I know. I'm so sorry. I'll do anything to make it right. For the first time, I looked at him and saw not just the man who'd hurt me, but the man I'd failed to reach, the man who'd been drowning as much as I had. I realized I'd ignored the warning signs, settled for the emptiness, let us both disappear behind our own walls. I need space, I said quietly, my voice barely above a whisper. I don't know if I can fix this. I don't know if I want to. I need time to figure out if we're even fixable, or if this is just the end. He nodded, defeated, and left me alone with my thoughts. As he walked out, I felt something I hadn't felt in months, not relief, not anger, but clarity. I knew the only way forward was to be honest, and not just with him, but with myself. To stop pretending, to stop shrinking, to stop losing myself in a relationship that only existed on the surface. I don't know what comes next. I don't know if there's hope for us or if it's too late. But for the first time, I'm not afraid to face the truth. Whatever happens, I'm done disappearing. I'm done pretending. I'm ready to fight for myself, even if it means letting go.